Alrighty guys, so welcome back to my channel today, and we are doing a brand new Sims 4 speed build today, but today I am doing another Sims 4 sim battle today, and I'm collabing with my good friend, Miss Mousie Mouse, or Mousie, and we decided to go ahead and do an Old English Country Cottage with a budget of 70,000 simoleons on a 30 by 20 lot, and let me tell you, I struggled real hard. But if you want to see Mousie's video, I will link it down below along with her channel. Her videos are honestly really amazing because I love Minecraft and I love Sims, and she does it both very well. So pretty much you should subscribe to her channel because she's literally awesome. So anyway, so when I looked up the Old English Country Cottage house on Pinterest where I live on, I saw, I said to myself, no, it's not gonna be that many plants. It's not gonna be plant crazy. But boy, I was wrong. I was like, oh no. Well, I'm gonna have a struggle time with this build because I like plants, and then plants are literally all over the house. So I have a story with this house, of course. This is what I usually do. I tell stories like during my house building videos because I like to make my houses come to life, if that makes any sense. So the story will come a little bit later during this build, but let me give you like a little brief introduction. If you are new to my channel, I am SpringSims, also known as Steven. Well, my name is Steven, also known as SpringSims. I do a lot of heaps of videos on my channel around the Sims 4, Sims 1 through 4 actually, and other Sim type related games as well. So if you enjoy that stuff, feel free to go ahead and subscribe and enjoy the content. But let's get back to this lovely build. So when I was looking up this house idea on Pinterest, I found this Old English Country Cottage house that I was kind of going for. I will put a picture of it now on the screen so you guys can kind of get a brief idea of what I was kind of going for and kind of what I was looking for, but I added my own interpretation to the house. So I looked at the house and I looked at it again, and then I gathered inspiration from it, and then I kind of did my own inspiration, if that makes any sense. So either way, I had heaps of fun of doing this, and it was kind of really hard, but it was also really fun, if that makes any sense. So the story I have for this build is where this old lady who used to live in this house, it wasn't really old and decrepit the way it looks. It had a lot of clutter in this house, but after a while things started to collect dust and things had to be removed, and it ended up being a lot emptier than now that it is. The house on the inside is very kind of empty, but it's very spacious. But so that's why there's not a lot of objects in this house. My idea of this house, I didn't want to add a lot of stuff just because I wanted to keep the budget low, but also I wanted to keep it to the story that I had in mind. So the story I had in mind, again, the old lady who used to live here was, I think her name was Gretel. It's not Hansel Gretel, that's not who it is. Her name was Gretel O'Reilly. I think her name was Gretel O'Reilly. She was about a 60-year-old lady, and she was a really nice old lady who used to live here, and she was always a nice, kind lady who was always nice to her neighbors, always said hello, always greeted you when you walked past her at the grocery store, or in the egg aisle at the Walmart, you want to call it, or whatever, in Windenburg, I guess you would say. And when I met her for the first time, I never thought she would be that type of person who would collect all the stuff. But boy, I was wrong. But no, she was a really nice person when I met her about a couple years ago. And she said to me, like, I was looking for somebody to kind of repurpose my house. I was kind of moving. I'm getting old age, and I really can't stay in this house a lot longer. And what she kind of did is that she asked someone to go ahead and rebuild her house, because her house was on the cusp of actually breaking down. And I said to her, you know what, I can rebuild your house to its former glory, but it might have some slight issues to it, because some houses in Windenburg are very old and decrepit and very Tudor style. So I told her that it may not look like it is now. Like, I know that your house looks very old, and it's very old because the structure of the house cannot be repurposed, if that makes any sense. And she said that's like totally fine. It's totally fine if it has. She told me it's fine if it has cracks in the house. It's totally fine. That's the way the house is. It's a house. It's old and it's just there. So she told me to go ahead and actually kind of do what I had to do to make it look pleasant and presentable to the pleasing on the eye, like make it presentable to other people who visit the house. And so I did that. So I added a bunch of vines to the wall. actually the vines kind of collected onto the house itself as it grew over time in the past 10-ish years, I would say. And she was like, oh, wow. And she was kind of surprised on how the end result came. And I'm glad that she liked the end result, because I was like, I don't know what I'm doing. I thought it looked crazy because of all the plants, but she was totally fine with it, and I'm glad that she liked it. So Gretel was kind of she never really had, she was the only child when she grew up. She was always that type of kid who was always alone and never really kind of paid attention to what was really going around her. She was that type of kid who you never expected to be, I don't know, would be outgoing than she is now. Like, she was a very, very like outgoing person, but she was also very shy. Like, she wasn't like an outgoing, shy person. And you never thought she would be that type of kid who would be joining all these clubs and just being outgoing and being uplifting to other people. But no, she really is. She's a really good person, but she doesn't really show it towards new people. Like, she's very shy when she meets new people. But whenever she kind of met her lover, I would say, I think his name was John, whatever his last name. I don't even know what his last name actually. But whenever she met John, she was like, oh, wow, he seems like a pretty cool guy. She hung up with him for a couple of years, and they started dating, and afterwards they got married, and they lived in this house for a couple of years, and then after soon he kind of died from, I think, some rare disease. I really don't know what happened, but he died from this rare disease that wasn't really curable. And afterwards, kind of, Gretel really took it hard. Gretel really took it hard, because they were high school sweethearts. Well, junior high sweethearts, that doesn't really count though, but they've met in junior high around like 7th grade, and then afterwards they kind of grew up in high school. Then they started dating in high school, and so on and so forth, went to college together, had a life together, and then they had a kid together, well, one kid, and that was a pretty cool idea of them to kind of live their life. And then afterwards, when they got kind of old, their son, I think his name was their son Ryan, went off to college, had a life and everything like that, and Ryan was very successful, and Gretel and John moved into this old cottage house where I'm building right now. And after so forth, about 15 years later, John died, and Gretel was all alone by herself. Ryan, her son, was nowhere to be found. He kind of drifted off the face of the earth. I really don't know where he's at right now at this point in time. So afterwards, when Gretel was kind of sitting down in her chair, just kind of thinking about what she wanted to do with her life and what was going to happen, afterwards she kind of wanted to retire from her teaching job. And Gretel was like, okay. She wrote in her diary saying that it was September 19th, it was September 19th, 2003, when she wrote in her journal about, okay, I'm all alone. John is now passed away. Ryan, I haven't talked to him in about 5 years. Well, about 3 to 5 years. I don't know what I'm gonna do with my life. I'm retired. I'm a retired teacher. And she's like, okay, so what am I doing now? What am I doing with my life? I don't know what to go. I don't know what to do. And so forth, she kind of wanted to just travel the world. And that's what she did. She traveled the world, saw places that she never been before. And over time, she accumulated a lot of things. But she wasn't able to put that into her house because she was alone by herself. She didn't really know anybody besides her neighbors, but they were also old as well. She kind of lived in this neighborhood around old people, and it's like this random little section of town in Windenburg. And she was in that time in her stage where she was like, okay, how am I going to do all this traveling with little to no money that I have? And so she started to go on the computer and search up some saving tips. So she thought, you know what? I'm going to look up some saving tips on how to save money and save money while traveling. And she came across this one website where they had all these like random deals about traveling around the world on a budget. And man, oh man, Gretel was literally, she was happy. She was crazy happy because, like, man, she didn't have all the money in the world. But after, I think, when John's, like, will or whatever he had, like, he had a lot of money to his name, and he like kind of put it towards his son, but also towards more to his wife, because they were married, had a prenup and whatever words are, but they had money set aside for themselves for retirement. And I think all the retirement money went to Gretel, and some stuff went to Ryan. Ryan kind of got somebody as well because they were his only child. And then afterwards, Gretel said, "Oh, I had this savings account with John's name in it. We were married. I had all this money." And afterwards, it was not a lot of money actually. But even though they had money, it was money that they were saving to go on like a little of to live on their retirement, to pay the bills and the car bill and sorts of stuff like that, you know. But after Gretel decided to take out all the money, go travel, she saw Switzerland, she saw Brazil, she saw Poland, she saw the Netherlands, she saw Australia, Melbourne, Australia, Sydney, Australia. She also went to Canada. She traveled to the United States for a couple of months. She went to Canada. She went to California, the lovely state of the world. She also went to Texas, Nebraska. I almost said Idaho. Indiana, Iowa, Indiana, Ohio. That's the word, Ohio. So she went to those states and also went to Canada, Vancouver, and Toronto as well, to those areas around on the other side of the water, which she had a blast doing, which I'm kind of happy that she was able to get out of the house, travel the world, see the world that she wanted to do before she died. But she is currently still living right now. She's still currently traveling the world, doing what she's loved and going to places that she's never been before. And I'm kind of proud because whenever I met her about a couple years ago, about 2 years ago, when she told me to kind of renovate her house and kind of like take all of her stuff that she had before to storage, and I did all that, and that's why the house was kind of empty, and that's what it is. That's what all she had left that she couldn't take to the storage locker around wherever they kind of put their stuff at. So either way, she really had a lot of fun doing what she loved. And afterwards, when I told her that I was done renovating, repurposing her house the way she wanted it, and also the way I kind of had envisioned it as well, she told me that thank you for all the hard work that you have done for the past 2 years for me, with me and my family. If you know that I've gone through a hard time, and she really appreciated all the work that I've done, and I'm kind of glad that she is doing what she loves, and I just love Gretel. Gretel is a person that you would never thought would become your best friend in the span of 2 years, just for repurposing her house to its former glory, but also keeping intact about the house the way it was. So either way, I'm just happy that you guys were able to come and listen to the house, to my little story of this house, and I think I've portrayed it rather well. And if you want to see more speed builds like this, where I talk about a story that I have in mind about builds, let me know down in the comments below. As always, if you have like any like sim YouTubers that you want me to collab with for a sim battle, let me know in the comments, or tweet me on Twitter. Mostly tweet me on Twitter so if you want me to do, comment down below on who should I battle next for the next Sims battle, as well as on what type of house or what type of like build that we should do, and what budget. Like, let me know. I really want to know so bad, because I really want to like make this thing an actual thing where I do stuff on a budget and do stuff on a theme, and you guys need to be involved with it too. So we are getting close to the screenshots right now, but the story has not ended yet. So Gretel came back from the last place that she was visiting. She came back from the States about 3 months ago, but then she traveled over to, I think it was, she went from Florida to a 16-hour to the Philippines afterwards, and the Philippines over to, I think it was Norway, then Norway back to, I think it was Edinburgh. Yeah, Edinburgh. I don't know how to say that word. But either way, she traveled back to her home state, where she told me that thank you for all the hard work you've done, and everything was really great. And she had a lot of fun traveling, and she wanted to just sit down and retire. So she stopped what she was doing, retired fully, because she was kind of doing stuff on the side, but then she fully retired, sat down, and just relaxed in her home. And right now, she's still living to her full full potential, and she's just having a lot of fun with not accumulating with a lot of stuff. That's why there's not a lot of stuff in this house. But either way, I really hope you guys enjoyed today's speed build as much as I did. Check out all the links down below, of course, and I will see you guys all in the very next video. Bye!